It was a perfect round of golf here at El Tigre in Mexico. Toronto's Michael Emmett got it done. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show coming up. Our guest today hails from Toronto. He played Division I tennis at the University of Texas. He was a three-time Canadian tennis champion. He's a tennis professional at Mayfair Lakeshore. He's a real estate agent for Royal LePage Infinity. He has a passion for golf, and he holds the course record here at El Tigre after shooting a 58. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Emmett. Michael, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too, Joe. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it, my friend. This is going to be fun. Now, listen, we got to talk about your tennis career first of all. First and foremost, you were a tennis player and a very good one. Tell us how you got involved in the sport, and tell us about your rise in the sport.
Well, it was really my dad. My dad was a member of the Toronto Cricket, Skating, and Curling Club, and he took me out there, and I was very athletic. Loved the fact that I was able to hit a ball around, and we played. And eventually, a couple coaches saw me, and before you know it, you're on a national team. I was one of the best players in the world at 11 and 12 years old. There's a junior tournament called the Orange Bowl, which was representative of the best kids in the world, and I was, I was one of the better players for sure because I did well in that tournament. And I had a great junior career. Ended up being ranked number one in Canada in my last year of juniors. And I was recruited by the University of Texas in Austin. And I played tennis competitively. I've had 3 wrist operations, which was a little bit of a downer for my tennis career. It was I didn't play that many matches as a professional where I was healthy. My wrist was always a problem. And that's one reason why I gave it up relatively early, but I'm still teaching. I'm at the Mayfair Lakeshore Club in Toronto, and I still play on Sunday night teams here in Toronto where we compete against other clubs across the city. So I'm playing with 20 and 25-year-olds on a regular basis. And I'm just a super competitive guy who loves sports, loves playing sports, watching sports, talking about sports.
So yeah, the great tennis career, the scholarship with the Longhorns, and from there the wrist injury, but you took up golf and really at a kind of advanced age, 29 years old, if I'm not mistaken, when golf became a passion for you. Tell us about what happened and what.
Yeah, it was bizarre. I mean, I played a little bit of golf when I would go play on a par 3 course at Dentonia, once a summer with my dad, maybe, but I didn't actually start playing golf until 28, 29. And I just on a spur of the moment decided to join Emerald Hills. I got something in the mail and I thought, you know what? I'm not playing tennis anymore. I need to do something. So I called up the pro. They had some kind of deal going on. I think I got in for $5,000 initiation, and I just became a golfer. I went on the range, and I was like, "This is my new sport. I'm doing this." I focused on golf, like I was focusing on tennis from the age of 7 to 22 or 23. So yeah, it was. I remember being on the range with the pro there, and he looked at me and goes, "You got an awful swing." And I go, "Yeah, thanks very much. I just spent $5,000 and you're telling me," but he goes, "I'm telling you this because I actually see a lot of potential." He goes, "I think you could be really good at this game, but you got to make some fundamental changes." So he's the reason that my golf game took off. And he said, "Change your grip, change your stance, change your ball position." And he goes, "I'm going to get you to work on one of these 3 things at a time. And I'll come back every month and see how you're doing." So first thing, we changed the grip. I used to have a weak grip. I used to spray the ball. I was like a weak fade. My drive was 220 yards. But I found a way. Well, even though I was really bad, even though my swing was horrendous, I could always putt. And I could always find a way, even though I looked like just a brutal golfer, I could still shoot 84, 85. And I just had a really good short game. And I attribute that to my tennis. Anyway, the guy goes, yeah, make these changes and you'll see a big change. So I changed my grip, and boy, that was a tough thing. You change your grip drastically the way I did. But now I hit a draw. I could never hit a fade again. I hit a strong draw. And yeah, it's now I got a lot to tell you about my current golf, because that's been on hold with my wrist. I had another wrist surgery. But anyway, yeah, my golf started at Emerald Hills. Golf Pro changed my swing. And yeah, that was the beginning of me being a pretty good golfer.
Well, that's interesting, because you also set a course record at Emerald Hills at one point with a 62. So obviously the changes were okay.
I did. I used to play Emerald Hills 120 rounds a year. I used to tear Emerald Hills up. I mean, that was nothing for me. I knew the course inside out. I wasn't playing the back tees all the time. We were men's nights and things. I just found that course to be very, very easy when I was playing great golf. And yeah, so there's absolutely no comparison for me between the 62 at Emerald Hills and the 58 at El Tigre. When we start talking about the 58 at El Tigre, that was just an out of body experience. And there's so much that happened that day that I'll never, ever forget. I could tell you this story in 50 years and probably not forget anything about that round or that day. And it was absolutely incredible. Everything about it, from the moment I got up to taking the flight home, it was just a day that I'll never forget.
Well, let's get right into it. Let's talk about that magical round at El Tigre and how did it start? I remember, here's what happened. So I was in the pro shop, and I happened to be looking at the pro shop wall, and I said, I know that guy. That's Michael Emmett. And I remember the story that Lauren Rubenstein wrote about it in the Globe and Mail back in the day. And then there was a scorecard and a plaque on the wall. And so I asked Steve Johnson, who's the general manager here at El Tigre, about your incredible round. This is what Steve had to say. Let's listen to what Steve said.
The finish is what stands out to me. I mean, obviously our 18th hole has quite a reputation, 630 plus yards, and to finish that off with a birdie was pretty incredible. So now it's just an astonishing number. I mean, I don't care where you play golf, a score under 60 is remarkable. So I don't have any words. I've never scared anything even close to that. So
you've had PGA Latino America events here. You've had lots of great pros play here. Has anybody ever come close to that?
Not even close. I think we had a couple of 64s, and obviously when you get to talking about scores that much below par, 6 more under par is hard to fathom.
What would you like to say to Michael Emmett?
Congratulations. Come back and show me again. That would be pretty incredible. So, love to have you come back and have a discussion about it, maybe even play a round of golf. So.
All right, you going to take up Steve on his offer?
So I did go back the following year, and I played the course. I don't know, same vacation, same everything. And now I had a bit of a busted baby finger on my left hand, which I remember, which was hampering me, but I didn't break par once. And yeah, no, the finger was bugging me a little bit, but I was nowhere close. And I sat back and went this, what I did was shocking. And there's just no other way to say it. It was just absolutely an out of body experience. There were so many factors, Joe, that went into that there's no way that's possible in a 4.5 hour round. There's no way that's possible if I'm not playing in a twosome. There's no way that's possible if my partner that day, Peter Schrader, doesn't become my number one fan and basically stop playing and cheer me on like I'm about to do something heroic. There's no way that's possible if I was really focusing on what my score was. Like I had no idea what I was shooting. I just knew I was on fire, and I was trying everything I could to not think about it. I had a plane to catch. And it was literally the most unbelievable hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever you want to call it, from the fourth hole on. I can't hit the ball better, and I didn't miss a shot from the fourth hole on to the 18th hole. I was absolutely magic.
Okay, so February 17th, 2008, almost 15 years ago to the day, 15 years ago next week. And it was a round that never happened. First of all, let's start there. It was a round that almost never happened. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I had 4 buddies that were in Mexico with me, and they all left. I think they left on the Friday night. So I was wanting to keep playing. I couldn't get the same flight that they got. So my flight came back on Sunday. And I remember I went out there on the Saturday afternoon with this gentleman, the architect from Montreal, and we hit a few balls, and I was playing great. I was absolutely on fire that Saturday afternoon. And I said, hey, I want to play one more round before I go, but I got to go really fast because I've got a flight. I think my flight left at noon. And I mean, most people would sleep in and have a nice breakfast and mosey on out to the airport. But me, I already played 17 rounds, and I needed to play another round. So he said, yeah, come join me. I go off first every morning. He said, yeah, come join me. So I walk over to the tee, and I'm kind of late. And there are 20 people hovering around the first tee, and he's on his cart at the white tees. And I'll never forget it. I thought, oh, this doesn't feel right. I'm jumping in front of these people. I don't even know if this guy remembers me from yesterday. And I quickly run up to him and go, hey, can I play? Can I play? And he goes, yeah, sure. But he didn't have a great attitude. I think he didn't want me to play again. And so I didn't hit. I mean, when you play 17 rounds of golf, you're stiff. I was absolutely not limber. I was not in a good position to tee off. There were people watching me. He's in front of me. The cart's in the way. Like everything was wrong about this. And I thought, Michael, just go home, have breakfast. You don't need this. Anyway, so I hit my first tee shot, and Joe, it was horrendous. Like it barely made it off the ground. And I scraped it around on the first 3 holes. The second hole, which is a par 3, I hit that ball 30 to 40 yards left of that green. There's no way this guy believed me that I was the same guy he saw Saturday afternoon. Like it was just, I'm playing the back tees too, and he's not happy about that. Like he wanted me to play the same tees as him. Anyway, after 3 holes, somehow, miraculously, I'm even. Like I said, I can putt. So even though I was nowhere close to hitting a good shot, I was still even par. And I remember getting to the 4th hole, the par 5, and I made my decision. I was going home. This was not fun. I was not enjoying any of it. He was not really being as friendly as he was the day before. And my thought was, how can I get out of here? And I hit my drive, and actually, because I had already resigned myself to the fact that I was going home, I hit a really good drive. And I remember sitting there looking at the yardage going, okay, there's no way in hell I should be going for this. Pulled up my 3-wood, and I was envisioning my ball go in the water. I could see it. I could see the flight. I could see it landing about 20 yards short of the green in the water. And that was my sayonara. See you later. I'm out of here. Nice meeting you. Sorry that I'm not finishing. Anyway, that ball goes on the green. I make a 25-foot eagle putt. And from that moment till the 18th green, when I sank a ridiculously long birdie putt, I was absolutely perfect. I've never hit the ball better. I've never felt more. I felt like I was floating on air. And I actually missed a couple putts inside 10 feet. It could have been better than 58. I know that sounds ridiculous.
Just going to stop you for a second, Michael, because we're going to back up here a little bit. Okay, so I want to just run through this. Okay, so because we got video of all the holes. So hole number 1, 451-yard par 4. Water along the left side. Okay, here it is. Out of bounds if you go too far right. Okay, and you see you dribbled it basically off the tee box. And how were you able to scrape out that par there?
I left the ball about 30 yards short of of the green, and I made a pretty good chip to about 5 or 6 feet, and I made the putt for par. I remember that very well, thinking, okay, you know what, this guy doesn't think I'm that bad because I still made a par, and I was sort of feeling a little bit of, okay, well, at least all I was trying to do was impress this guy because I just didn't think he wanted to play with me. So that was the goal, that was the mission. But boy, did I hit a bad shot on 2. I'll let you show
okay.
2 if you have to.
Here's okay. Hole number 2 for sure. 189 yards, par 3, bunker in front. The card says you parted. Now, you said you're 30 yards left or right?
Left. I was way left of those bunkers.
Way left of those bunkers. Okay. Now, and what happened?
Yeah. Flop shot. I think I hit the flop shot really good there. I don't think I had to make much of a putt. But I think I made 3 or 4 footer. Don't remember exactly, but I do remember hitting the ball extremely left. And I do remember hitting a flop shot over the bunkers and making the putt.
Okay. Hole number 3, 442 yard par 4. Lots of water and iguanas there on the left-hand side, and you got to clear. This is looks like it's a little bit different hole than I play because I hit from the tees way up there. But here you go. And if you hit the hills on the right, that's trouble. But and you scratched that apart here as well. Was that a good shot off?
I did. I hit so I don't hit a fade. I hit a terrible shot way right. I was on the other side. My recollection, again, it was 15 years ago, but my recollection is I hit that ball into an adjacent fairway on the right of those mounds. Is there an adjacent fairway? Yeah. I don't remember exactly, but if there
fourth
is,
fairway,
that's
fourth fairway, right there.
Yeah. Okay. So I hit it on the 4th fairway. Yeah, I definitely hit it on the 4th fairway. And I remember there was a comment at that time from my playing partner, and he goes, "You are sure hitting the ball all over the place." I go, "Yeah, but I'm even." And he goes, "Yes, you are. You're even par." But it was a dig. He was taking a shot at me, telling me I'm not very good, and I was not very good. Like if you put those forget the chips and the putts. If you put the first 5 or 6 shots on video of what those shots look like, and then go, yeah, this guy shot 58. There's this impossible. Like I couldn't have been worse. But if there's ever such a thing as turning a light switch on from being as bad as you can possibly be, I've played many, many, many tennis matches where I've been horrendous, and something clicks, and then all of a sudden you can't miss. And that's what happened. Something clicked, and it was, like I said, it was an out-of-body experience where everything from that moment on, from that par 5 on, when I made that eagle, I was just dialed in like never before. Okay,
the hole number 4, 500.
Yeah,
553 yards. Here we go, par 5, as you mentioned. Dog leg right, waist bunker and water on the right, sand and OB on the left. And this is where it came together for you with the eagle. So your first drive must have been great if you're on and 2, and then you made your putt.
Yeah, my first drive, I remember I had to hit it over the water. So looking at the view there, my drive must have been right, a little bit more right than the middle of the fairway. I don't remember hitting my drive right. I remember hitting thinking, wow, I hit a great drive there. But clearly, I remember having to hit my ball almost directly over the water, thinking it's going in the water. Because I don't usually, I had 247, I think, to the pin, and I think I had 230 to the front, something like that. And just was astounded, shocked that my ball made it over the water. Because as I said, I had given up. I was going home. I didn't want anything to do with this round anymore because it wasn't fun. But the ball landing on the green, I don't know if it landed on the green or on the front, but the ball ending up 25 feet away and making the putt, that changed everything.
Right. Okay, number 5, number 1 handicap hole. It's par 4, 474 yards. First, you have to clear the water. The waist bunker is there. There's some other bunkers to avoid. Then it's a dog leg left and a par on number 5.
And I gotta say, Joe, those middle holes I don't remember. I don't remember them like I remember the first four holes. I've told the story so many times about the first four holes. I remember 17 and 18 extremely well, but I haven't gone through those holes in my head like I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I do remember I didn't miss a shot. That's what I remember. I just remember being dialed in, and I do remember hitting some absolutely shots that aren't me. So, but I don't remember 5, 6, 7 as well as I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 17, and 18. Those holes completely are in my memory that I'll never forget. But I gotta say, I'm not. It's if you tell me what I made on 5, it might come back to me. But you said I made a par. I don't remember.
It's good
how
par.
far I hit it. I don't remember the putt.
Yeah, par's good on that hole, no doubt about it. Hole number 6 is an island green, 171-yard par 3.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Okay, so I've lost a lot of balls in that water, let me tell you. So, obviously, you parred it, so you probably hit the green and 2-putted, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, I think I was in the bunker. No, I was in the bunker on 6. And yeah, I remember thinking, wow, because I thought I hit a really good shot. And I think my playing partner thought I was on the green. I remember it was in the bunker. And that was where I almost pulled the bunker shot. Oh my God, I remember that so well. Yeah, I'm glad we're going through this. Because yeah, it was a nuts bunker shot. Bunker play is the worst part of my game. Even though I've got a really good short game I feel great around but I'm not super confident in the bunkers. I know I'm going to get it out. I'm pretty sure but I wouldn't be that guy who gets it up and down from a bunker 75, 80% of the time. I'm probably like 25 or 30%.
Okay, number 7, 404 yards, par 4. Sand all over the place. There's bunkers all over the place, but you got a birdie here on number 7.
Yeah, that's one where that when I said I was magical. That was so on the first par 5 that I made the eagle. That was a kick-in birdie. That was one, and I remember he was about to knock the ball back to me. And I remember thinking, if he knocks the ball back to me, that's no good because now it's not really an official round. And I remember kind of going, no, let me putt that. And I did putt it. And that from that moment on, I was going to make sure I was doing everything right. I didn't want him to give me any putts. And that's sort of when he took over and thought, okay, this guy is actually a pretty good golfer. I think he called the pro shop. At one point, either on 7 or 8, he called the pro shop to let them know either to get guys off the course that were in front of us. Because I think a couple guys may have jumped on the back 9, and he wanted to make sure I had an open course,
clear path. Yeah,
he wanted to make sure I had a clear path. And at some point, he stopped playing. He just was my caddy the rest of the way. He didn't hit for sure. He didn't hit a ball on after 12. I don't remember exactly when he stopped. But all he was focused on was me because he was writing the scores down and he was, I think, starting to add up in his head. Okay, well, hey, this guy's, I guess when I birdied 7, that put me to 3 under. But yeah, he started to really get motivated for me, thinking something special is happening here. And that's when he did that. That's when I started to feel really good because now, remember, my mission was just to sort of prove to him that I could play because I didn't think he thought much of me after the first 3 holes.
Well, then on number 8, another par 4, 407 yards. Once again, no water on this one, but waste bunker on the left that grabs a lot of balls. Also, 2 trees that can cause issues and some buildings on the right. Tell us about the 3 that you got on number 8.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, I do remember this hole because I do remember making a ridiculously long putt. I don't think I hit a great approach. I feel like that was maybe a hybrid that I hit in there. Maybe my drive wasn't perfect. I think it was a hybrid in, and I think I was on the front edge. I was certainly on the fringe, and wherever the flag was that day, I made a very, very long putt. And I thought, okay, this day is really, really changing for me. This is crazy because I hadn't been 4 under in all the rounds that I played. And I hadn't played the back tees that much either. That's the other thing that's sort of, I was playing the back tees because I played the back tees with him the day before. So I didn't play the back tees every round. When my buddies were there, there's no way I was playing the back. I was playing the blues or the whatever I can't remember the colors, but if it was the blues, I was playing that. I probably had played the back 3 or 4 times total of my 18 rounds. So I was hitting some different clubs that I wasn't used to. So yeah, but that was a long putt that I made on 8, and that's when things really started to go. I was like, oh my God, this isn't me. I'm not 4 under on the back tees playing El Tigre. So yeah, it was fantastic.
So number 9, okay, back to another par 5, very difficult par 5, 578 from the tips. And this is an awesome hole for you. Between the water and the bunkers, over the water to a very well-protected green, and another eagle allows you to make the turn at 30. What do you remember here?
It just hearing that, like it's ridiculous. I was hitting shots that I don't normally hit, and like I said, it was just me feeling free. I was free. I was open. I felt like the world's my oyster. Like I just felt like there was no pressure, because I still felt like I shouldn't be playing this round. So I was almost playing with house money. I wasn't betting with my buddies. I wasn't 1 up or 2 down, or because all this guy wanted me to do is hit good shots. So everything was in my favor. I didn't have to wait. I was playing super fast, which, being a tennis player, that's my thing. The folks at Emerald Hills will tell you, I want off first. I want to be around that course in 2.5 hours. And like I said earlier when we chatted, there's no way this round is happening if I'm not first out there playing fast with no one in front of me. I would have just had too much time to think. I didn't know that the eagle was giving me 30 on the front. I knew I was under par, but I was almost too tired to think about my score. I played so much golf. I was a little bit mentally drained. I was thinking about my flight. Again, it was crazy circumstances that allowed this ridiculous round to happen.
Okay, number 10. Second of back-to-back par 5s, only 510 yards. It's rated as the easiest hole in the course, but there's water, sand, the waste bunker. You made it back-to-back eagles here.
Yeah, that's the hole where I hit the longest drive I've probably ever hit in my life. I remember standing on the tee, and he went off to the bathroom, and I just smoked a drive. Like, seriously, I don't remember how far I hit it, but I remember I had an iron in. Whatever it was, I think I hit a 4 iron in, maybe a 5 iron in. And I wasn't even hitting a 4 or 5 iron in when I was playing the blues with my buddies. And it was a perfect draw. It just hung in the air, landed soft, and made about a 15-footer. And that's when he started jumping up and down. Like, he was going crazy. He was celebrating like I'd won the Masters. And he was like, seriously, he came and hugged me after that shot. And there's still lots of golf to go. There's still so many things that can go wrong. And I was fighting myself. Don't think about what's happening. Just roll with it. Keep going. Because at that moment, I knew that was my 3rd eagle. It's hard not to know that you've eagled 3 holes. And that's when I thought, holy smokes, this is turning out to be one of my best rounds ever. But I easily could have blown it. So many people get to that situation, and they come in at even for the remaining 7 holes, and or the remaining 8 holes. And fortunately, I didn't let that happen.
Or Jean Van de Velde, 18.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 11, 422 yards, right? Par 4, OB right, sand left, water in front, and Michael's card shows a birdie 3.
Yeah, I don't remember this hole at all, Joe. You know what?
Yeah.
No idea. Can't remember the drive. Can't remember the second shot. Can't remember the putt. Looking at the hole, I don't even remember it. And I played, like, looking at the backdrop there. I'm sorry. That's a blank. I wish I could tell you more, but I don't.
Okay,
if the scorecard says a 3, then let's go.
You had a 3.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's a tough hole with water, well-protected green, but you had a 3, and it was a nice 3. 12th hole is a par 3, 219 yards, water along the left side, bunkers on the right side. No problem here. Do you remember this, birdie?
I do, and again, that was just a gorgeous, gorgeous little draw that I played in, and yeah, that hole was eating me up all week. I looked at kind of reluctantly. I looked at Peter and said, "You know what? This hole's been killing me all week." And he goes, "Don't worry, don't worry. You got this. You got this." And he was a motivator. He was even he couldn't have turned out to be a better playing companion, playing partner. Because at the beginning, man, he wasn't, but he was motivating me and energizing me. And yeah, I remember that shot so clearly. It's amazing that I can't remember 11, but I remember I can see my ball traveling through the air on this hole, probably because it gave me so many difficulties throughout the week that I remember it. But yeah, that was I think I hit a 4-footer in for birdie. It was very, very one of my shorter birdie putts for sure.
Okay, 13, second most difficult hole. Only 414 yards, but over a waste bunker, some palm trees in the way, lots of sand, and a nasty 3-tiered green, undulations. On this one, you had to settle for par.
Right, and that's one. I remember I said I missed a couple putts inside 10 feet. This was one where I was really mad at myself because I hit again. I was driving the ball just like it was pure. I was flushing every drive. Every drive felt perfect. And I'm not, again, if you watch me play in many, many of my rounds, I don't look like, a +1 or a +2 golfer. I'm just a really, really good putter with a really, really good short game. I can chip really well. I can find ways. But the way I was driving the ball, that was not me. I mean, I easily missed 2 or 3 drives around where I'm scraping out of the rough. I'm close to the red stakes. Like I was just driving it perfectly. And I think that 3-tiered green, I think I was on the front. I think the pin was in the front that day. And I had one of my easiest putts, and I can remember it. I remember it just lipped out, and he was mad. He kind of got mad at me. He goes, "You got to make that." I'm like, "Dude, I'm tearing it up." And he was mad that I didn't make that putt. And I remember that so well. And again, that helped me down the stretch. That definitely helped me because I wasn't going to let him down anymore.
Yeah, like at this point, you're 10 under or some ridiculous thing. And
yeah,
you missed a putt, buddy. Okay, 14.
But Joe, I didn't know what I was at.
14 is a par 5. Oh, go ahead.
If he would have told me what I was at,
keep track.
If he would have said, "Michael, hey, do you realize you're 10 under?" That would have been maybe the end of me. I never once calculated what I was at.
That's the key. 14, short par 5, 475 yards. But you have to stay away from those 2 trees. There's one on the right and one overhanging on the left. Condos on the left, houses on the right. Green is protected by 14 bunkers on number 14. How did you negotiate that, birdie?
I think I was telling you earlier, I told you I'm not a great bunker player. I think I got up and down from the bunker. I think I was in one of the greenside bunkers, and I didn't hit a great bunker shot. But again, I think I made a 12 to 15 foot putt for birdie on that hole after being in the bunker. Yeah, you know what? Now I remember that. I remember that now. Yeah, I had a left to right breaking putt, which aren't my favorite putts. I much prefer the right to lefts. And yeah, it found the bottom of the hole, and it was another birdie.
15, 221-yard par 3, bunker front left and behind the green. You had to settle for a par here, and you're not doing the math, I'm guessing, at all still.
No idea, but I did not hit a great shot here. This was one of the holes where it reminded me a little bit of the first 3 holes. The par 3s all week, and how many par 3s, four par 3s times 17. I played a lot of par 3s through that week, and I didn't do great on the par 3s. But I can't wait till we start talking about 17. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't hit a great shot, but I managed to make par. I made a fairly long putt to save par there, and that's when I knew I wasn't going to miss a putt today. That was the sign of I know I missed 2 10-footers, but I didn't miss any putts for par, and that felt like a big moment for me in that round. I was thinking this is key, because if I'm making this one, I'm not going to bogey a hole, and it's just going to be pars or birdies or eagles.
And par saves were key, no doubt about it. Okay, so now we're coming to the last 3 holes. This is what you said to the manager at El Tigre at the time. Last 3 holes, truly the best finishing holes in the world. The par 4 8 16th is one of the most demanding tee shots anywhere in the world. The green is protected by water and bunkers. So you want to be approaching this tricky green with a mid-iron in your hand. Puts so much pressure on the drive. Without a good one, you're almost certainly looking at bogey or worse, but you birdied that one too. So obviously you had the good drive.
Yeah, I had a very good drive, and that was one. Again, I did not play this hole well. The one thing that really stood out for me was every hole that I played poorly over the course of the 17 rounds, I played really well that day. I don't know what it was. It was almost like the golf gods were saying, okay, well, you're playing 18 rounds here, and in 5 days, we're going to give you some good results on the holes where you haven't performed very well. And yeah, I hit 3 perfect shots there. The drive, the approach. I think I had an 8-iron in, which again just tells you how far I was driving the ball that day. It's almost like I was just taken by somebody and like, here, you're going to drive this ball to here. And when I went back the following year, it was like, what happened? How was that even possible? Because I was putting myself in similar situations and not even close to where I was. So it was in the zone like never before.
Okay, 17. This is how you described it. The 17th hole is the longest, toughest par 3 anywhere I've ever played. 250 yards with water down the left and bunkers and OB on the right. Definitely the toughest shot on the course, especially if the prevailing wind is in your face. That's what you wrote then. And of course, you had a 2.
Yeah. So I dropped the next year, I dropped maybe 20 balls. I was with only one guy came back of the 4. Only one guy came back. So we literally went back to that tee, and I hit 20 balls from the back tees. Didn't hit the green once. Like not once. And I was close, but my ball never actually ended up on the putting surface once. And that day, my ball ended up on the putting surface, and that day I made the putt. And if I was to play those 20 balls that I dropped, my average score likely would have been a 4.5. You know, maybe a 4.25, but it was certainly going to be over par. And I think I made a 2 there. But I do remember standing up over that tee shot and being really nervous. I wasn't nervous at all the entire day. Well, I was a little bit nervous on the first tee because nothing felt right, and it just didn't seem like it was the right thing for me to be playing that day. But as much as I didn't know exactly what my score was, I did know that, look, I've had a lot of eagles out here, and you can do the math. No bogeys, quite a few eagles, and a handful of birdies. So I knew I was in double digits under par. So I was nervous, and I fully expected to not hit a good shot. Every other time I stood up over the ball that day, after the first 4 holes, I was expecting good shots. But this one, because I'd just been eaten up by it all week, and it just seemed like it's way too far for a par 3. Like, you can't have a 250-yard par 3 with the wind in your face. I mean, most people are hitting driver. I hit a 5-wood that, I don't know, like it just drew in there, beautiful draw, and it was just, I don't know how I did it.
Well, see, this is so cool because there's a lot of golfers who would say that probably have the ability that you did at this particular time. It's just that it all came together for you on this day, and that's what makes it so magical. It's what's so cool about it. So on 18th, this is what Michael had to say at the time, and then they saved the best for last. The par 5 18th is a classic. What a way to finish! 630 yards with trouble down the entire right side and a 250-yard carry over the water just to get in position to hit a long iron or 3-wood, and then a perfect approach is required if you want to finish with a birdie. So you needed a par to break 60, and it's a birdie. The key shot here?
Oh, the putt. But I mean, when you've got a hole of that length, Joe, I got so many things to say about this hole. I don't even know where to start. I again played that hole brutally during the week. But I remember when I got to the second shot, I remember looking on the green and seeing, I'm going to guess 20 or 25 people standing around the green. And now I'm shaking. Like now I'm literally shaking because they're all coming to watch me and they haven't seen any of my first 17 and a half holes. They've seen nothing. So I remember standing over I had a sand wedge in. I hit two really, really good shots to put myself, I think I had 108 yards in. And I remember pulling up my sand wedge and I hit it. And I thought, okay, that felt really, really good. And now I'm about, I don't know, let's call it 18 feet for birdie. And I remember looking at all these people thinking, if I miss this putt, there's no way any of them are going to believe me. They're not going to believe me that I'm something ridiculously under par. And I thought, I got to make this putt. If I don't make this putt, they're all going to be, oh, yeah, like, yeah, right. You shot 58, you shot 59, whatever it is. No one's going to believe me. So I remember that's all I was thinking about. Those were not good pre-putt thoughts, that's for sure. But I lined it up. I was confident on the line. And lo and behold, it went in the hole. And Peter started running up and down like the Leafs had just won the Stanley Cup. He's from Montreal, so maybe the Habs just won the Stanley Cup. And he's screaming, you shot 58. You shot 58. I'm going, no. I didn't shoot 58. I didn't know. Like, I thought he was just random. Like, that sounds, because I did not know. Honestly, I thought I was 60, but I didn't know. And he's going, you shot 58. You shot 58. I go, stop. You can't just blurt out numbers that aren't true. So I grabbed the card, I went through it, and yeah, I shot a 58. And there were 20 or 25 people, and they came to do an interview with me. And all I could think about was, I got a flight to catch. Like, I had to hightail it. My flight, I think, was leaving. Oh, they took me. I had my bags with me, and like it was a scramble to get out of there and get on a plane. So I shot 58 and didn't really have time to celebrate. I didn't have time to have a beer or anything. It was just a quick interview with whoever the general manager was, and it was out of there. And yeah, so this has been really fun because I haven't really relived it like this. I haven't thought about it in quite a while. I've told the story many times, obviously, but I haven't told the story of holes 4 through 18. Most of the story is how I wanted to leave after 3 holes. So this has been really fun as a recollection.
7,239 yards later, and there you go, 58. So anyway, we caught up with a couple of tour veterans. Gary Hallberg, former PGA Rookie of the Year, won 3 times on the PGA Tour. Esteban Toledo, who is tearing it up on the Champions Tour, has won 4 times. We asked them what they thought of your 58.
You look at all of us, us 3 guys here. What's the best round you ever shot? We've shot, 60. We've shot those rounds. That'll be the best round of his life. There are thousands and thousands of golfers, and every golf course eventually is going to have one great golfer shoot their best round. So he had his best round at El Tigre, and that's an incredible best round. 60, 61, you hear that, but you don't hear it at 50s at all, very seldom. So I think that's just tremendous.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Congratulations. I think it's shooting a 61. I think is a great score. But when you shoot a 58 from the tips, I don't know. I don't think. I think somebody done it. Jim Furyk did it up in 59. No, he shot 58. 58
in the PGA Tour.
That is amazing. I don't have the game to shoot a 58. Be honest with you. Maybe on the front. But it's just amazing to shoot 58, and what a wonderful feeling coming down the last hole and bury the last hole. That's just pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Does that sum it up?
Yeah, they're right. Like it's not even close. Will I ever have a round like that? It's my best round for sure, forever. There's not even any point in trying to attempt something like that. And yeah, it was the most incredible feeling. I just wish I had more time to soak it up. I wish it would have been a little different circumstances where I could have, celebrated a little bit more. But yeah, it was one for the ages. There's no doubt. It was. And look, I got a lot of people who don't believe me, but that actually adds to the story. I love that. I love when people say, "Yeah, bullshit." Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but when they say that didn't happen and there's no way that's possible, and yada yada yada. The human mind and the human body are very interesting things, and if you get in the zone, things can happen, and that day was proof of that.
Well, we know, Michael, that tennis is your number one game all the way through, aside from that incredible round of golf. But what do you think of the Canadian tennis team? I wanted to ask before we call it an interview here.
So the Canadian tennis team,
like right now.
Yeah, oh my God. Canadian tennis has never been better. It's yeah. But the thing that people don't talk about is we won the Davis Cup. Davis Cup used to be a huge deal in tennis when it was Australia and the USA. And to win the Davis Cup the way we did a couple months ago was, I feel like the media in this country did not do it justice. To win that event with the players that we had, it's just an incredible story. Bianca Andreescu wins the 2019 U.S. Open. Felix and Dennis win the Davis Cup with Vasek Pospisil. Leylah Fernandez is a U.S. Open finalist. Rebecca Marino coming back from just, having a really tough time with mental health issues. It's even Jeannie Bouchard's still playing. So Canadian tennis has never been better. And it's great to see, and it's fun. I really look forward to the Grand Slams these days because we know we're going to get Canadian content at least for the first 10 days of these events. And I really, really enjoy it. It's such a joy to see our country produce such talent when it never happened when I was a player. It was unheard of it was unheard of for Canada not only to win the Davis Cup, it was unheard of for Canada to even get in the Davis Cup. They had to go through all these qualifying zones and playing in these countries where they're throwing beer bottles at you, and we're way past that. We've got such good training ground now, and the young kids are watching these superstars and they're picking up the sport. The tennis clubs are busier than they've ever been, and yeah, I see it continuing as long as the coaching continues the way it has been. I don't see this changing anytime soon.
So that's it. You think it more than anything, it's the coaching?
Oh, it's without a doubt the coaching. It's putting the systems in place. You can't just expect kids to pick up rackets and learn the sport on their own. It's really about the grassroots. The grassroots changed 20, 25 years ago, and we're seeing the rewards now. It's impossible for a country to produce what we've produced without having the proper coaches and the proper systems in place. And the proof is there. We have demonstrated to the rest of the world that we're doing it right. And if we keep along these lines, we're going to continue to produce Grand Slam champions.
Okay, which Canadian wins the next Grand Slam?
Well, it would be easy to say one of the females because it's way easier in the females, although I do believe that's changed. If you watch the last Australian Open, in fact, the last bunch of majors, it's been different females winning every single time. So it would be very easy to say Bianca, but I think she has lost a little bit. The obvious answer is Felix Auger-Aliassime. I mean, he's 6th in the world. He won 4 tournaments at the end of 2022. But to win a Grand Slam, you got to beat guys like Medvedev and Djokovic and Alcaraz, and you got to beat them 3 out of 5 sets. It's just such a grind, and it's such a physical ask. The fact that Djokovic just won the Australian Open with a 3-inch tear in his hamstring is truly remarkable. And to think that a Canadian has to win 21 sets in a 12 or 13 day period against the competition that's currently out there is really brutally demanding. So yeah, you know what? If you ask me, I'll say Felix, but it's going to be easier on the women's side. So if Leylah Fernandez or Bianca Andreescu can get it going, it would be nice to see.
Michael, really enjoyed this chat. It was fun to go through that miracle round in 2008. Really enjoyed this. Thanks for being on the show today.
It's so sad that was 15 years ago. Where's the time gone, Joe? Where's the time gone? It's crazy, crazy times. Anyway, I had a lot of fun. I'm happy to come on anytime. And if you need me again, you know where to reach me.
We'll bring you on for some tennis next time, buddy. That'll be fun.
Love to.
All right. Thanks, buddy. More sports when we come back. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show is brought to you by Addiction Rehab Toronto, Toronto's #1 alcohol and drug treatment center, saving lives, reuniting families. The only treatment center in the province to offer medical detox, treatment, sober living, and lifetime aftercare all in one place. Our unique and specialized programs are designed to equip our clients with the tools to successfully lead a life of dignity, respect, and purpose. Let us help save your life or your loved one's life. Call today for more information or to facilitate an intervention. 1-855-787-2424 or visit addictionrehabtoronto.ca. Visit moregolf.ca. You'll find everything a golfer could need, from balls, gloves, clubs, custom fitting opportunities, training gear, valuable accessories, and some great deals. Looking for that perfect gift idea for the golfer in your life? Go to moregolf.ca today. Joe Tilley Sports is brought to you by COSA, Central Ontario Standardbred Association, providing a united voice for harness horse people racing at Ontario tracks. Check out your benefits today at COSAonline.com and check out COSA TV on Facebook and YouTube for all the latest harness news and live action updates. Live racing year-round. Go to HPIBet.com for all your wagering options. Become a member today, and your first bet is free. That's HPIBet.com. All right, my COSA Swiss pick of the week. Last time out, I picked Flying Formation in the opening race on Thursday night's card at Mohawk. A chilly and snowy night. Flying Formation with Doug McNair in the buggy. She was flying. Took the early lead and held off a late rally by our Hot Toddy to win it for trainer Bill Budd in 1:58.1. I had the exacta as well. How about that? This week, I'm looking at Thursday night's 8th race at Mohawk. Our Hot Toddy, who almost upset the favorite last week, should get it done. James McDonald drives. Let's go with the 137 exacta and trifecta. Bid and Buy has been named the official sponsor of the O'Brien Awards, which just took place last weekend. It was an awesome night. For all the racing updates, visit COSA TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Go to hpibet.com for your wagering options. This is the Excellent Sports Adventure, brought to you by Lycom. Toronto will host the NHL's All-Star festivities next year. They'll have a tough act to follow after the folks in Sunrise did a bang-up job. Yes, they put the Raps in a solid event this time around. What a performance by those Tkachuk brothers in the final. Brady gets it to Matthew, who is going to tuck it into the net. Matthew with 4 goals and 3 assists over 2 games to win the MVP honors. Mitch Marner had a big day as well. Nice setup for Dylan Larkin, who scored 5 times, including a hat trick. Mitchie with 6 helpers. Tell me this guy isn't an elite playmaker. The Atlantic Division drops the Central 7-5 in the final. Mitchie, Tkachuk, and Larkin were the 3 stars of the week. And Mitch Marner was certainly styling at the All-Star festivities. The Miami Vice look seemed apropos in South Florida, but the magician was denied by the legend Roberto Luongo, while Sarah Nurse turned some heads with a scintillating effort in the Tendy Tandem. Peter Forsberg beats Igor Shesterkin, best women's player on the planet. And how about Connor McDavid going 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4 in the shooting accuracy event? Bullseye, yeah, good fun was had by all. The Toronto 6 Coming out of the Premier Hockey Federation All-Star break on a roll, Michele Kaiva, sweet feet for Sheehan Darkangelo, who buries the second of the game. Elaine Chuley with 26 saves, 6 blank the Buffalo Buttes, 3-0. Next game, and check out the effort. Teresa Benazova, wicked setup for Brianne Wilson-Bennett. Emma Woods had 3 points as the Six beat the Buttes again, 7-2. Well, the Raptors put the Raps on what turned out to be a pretty solid 7-game Western road swing. Second last stop, that was Houston, where the Rockets had the big lead. But check out this effort by Fred VanVleet, the circus-style scoop and one. Freddie V with 32. Gary Trent Jr. added 29 as the Dinos roll over the Rockets 117-111. Next up, Memphis. Pascal Siakam kicks out to VanVleet to Precious Achiuwa, who's taking it baseline, mighty slam. Then it's Scotty Barnes. Barnes turns with the floater. The Raps roar back to bounce the Bears 106-103. Toronto Rock gunning for their 5th straight win with a New York Riptide in town. Tom Schreiber takes the feet in the slot, rips one into the net, and takes a shot from the defender. Schreiber with 3 goals and 11 helpers. The 14-point night was one off the club record. Dan Dawson had a 9-point night, is now just 1 point shy of the magical 1,500 mark. Steve Keogh scored 4 times. Corey Small with 5. Rock plastered the Tide 22-14 as they improved to 6-2. The first ever fight card at the Pickering Casino was held last week. Man, let's hear it for Brandon, the bad boy Cook. The veteran shook off some ring rust on his way to a 6-round TKO victory over Richard Holmes of Jamaica. Canadian middleweight champ Sadiq Singh improved to 14-0. Mark Smithers, Ricardo Brown, and Melinda Watpool also won their bouts to remain undefeated. Yes, boxing is alive and well in Ontario. Congratulations to Bulldog Hanover, who was named winner of the Some Beach Somewhere Horse of the Year Award and the Cam Fella Award at the O'Brien Awards. He won just about all the big races he was in, including the Canadian Pacing Derby and the Breeders' Crown, and he ran that 1:45-4 at the William Hopman Memorial, fastest mile in harness racing history. What a horse. Does it again. All right. Number 6 hole at El Tigre. What a tough hole it was. Here's our shot of the week.
God damn it. 4!
Today's environmental tip: keep your drinks in reusable containers. Instead of buying individually packaged drinks, consider buying a bulk container for your favorite beverage. And buy a reusable bottle. Not only will this help the environment, but it will also help you save money. Rycom, passionate people who turn complicated business problems into simplified technology solutions for public and private sector real estate, properties, portfolios, and enterprise customers. Optimize and future-proof smart buildings from the ground up. The latest in fault locating, base building network design, managed services, cybersecurity, data analytics. Our fault detection will support all smart strategies, define projected outcomes for capital planning, and reduce environmental impact. Rycom, smart protection solutions. At Rycom, we're building a path to a smart and environmentally friendly future. And we want to thank all the folks who make this show possible. These are friends, trusted business associates, and all-around great folks. We highly recommend them all. Thank you for watching the show. And get in mind that the show is available on Spotify, iTunes, Google, Broadcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, as well as the Spanglish Network, Zingo TV, and Buzz TV Live. And you really want to check out our YouTube channel. There are past shows available, weekly sportscasts, all kinds of cool segments and shorties. Like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Thanks once again. Michael Emmett on the program. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show is brought to you by... Do you want to buy or sell a home? Could 31 years of real estate experience help you? Why not speak to an amazing team that loves to overpromise and overdeliver? Aldo has a tremendous team of experts on staff. They are committed to making your next real estate transaction smooth and comfortable. Call 416-GET-ALDO or visit getaldo.com. Brian Gribben Insurance Planning, helping you solidify your financial future.
At BGIP, what we do that's unique in the marketplace is we show people how to spend and enjoy their money in their early years of retirement without the fear of running out. Also, we're able to do this without you having to change financial advisors. Please look us up at bgip.ca today. Let's book a 30-minute phone call to see how we can bring value to you and your family in your planning.
Call Brian today for all your retirement needs. We did. 905-686-5678. MNP, a leading Canadian national accounting, tax, and business accounting firm. MNP proudly serves and responds to the need of their clients in the private, public, and nonprofit sectors. Through partner-led engagements, MNP provides a collaborative, cost-effective approach to do business and personal strategies to help people and organizations to succeed across the country and around the world. With local offices in Oshawa, Mississauga, Burlington, and more, their team is here to support you. Visit mnp.ca today to learn more. Guests on Joe Tilley Sports receive a gift certificate from Classica Imports. Top of the line imported men's clothing. Check out the Classica Essential Collection now. Go to shopclassica.com.